Hi. Well, today we've been along the river wander on our Tuesday jaunt on our bikes. These are three of my mates. There's, on the right there's Keith, there's Eddie in the middle, and Chris. He's a retired headmaster. Ed is a retired electrician, electrical engineer, and Keith is a retired printer. And there's me, just retired. And we do this ride every week, and we were in Malden Hall Park on our way to our cup of tea at Merton Abbey on this new boardwalk that's just been installed. It's probably about 300 yards long, and this is a sort of a stage with seating, absolutely glorious, set in the bulrushes, looking at trees, and behind I'm going to do this. This is my favourite sort of landscape, really. Big old tree here. Don't know what it is. Probably an old beech tree. But what attracted me was these autumn colours. Most of the leaves have come off of this, but I'll do some sort of sketchy indication of them. But these were deepening yellowy green, going brown with some brown around it. Also, somebody was mentioning on YouTube that they're having a problem with background, and by that I presume they mean making a background look distant. But there's no distance here. It's just probably, you can't see more than 200 metres, if that, 100 metres. But we're going to stretch it back by using colour, which we call aerial perspective, whereby cool colours recede and warm colours come forward. Because we're working on a two-dimensional piece of paper, which we'll come up to now, a two-dimensional piece of paper, canvas, whatever you want to paint acrylic on, you can paint it on most surfaces. We've got width and height, but what we haven't got is depth. That's the third dimension, and we have to create the illusion of depth by using colour. Warm colours in the foreground coming forward, going backwards, the sky, and the distance will be the blue shades of grey and grey greens. But that doesn't mean to say you can't use warm colours in the background. It's entirely up to you. It's your picture. You can make whatever you can, and you can abstract it, as I try to do, or you can create it close to nature, and you can create it photographically. But I don't like that personally. It doesn't leave a lot of scope for the artist, other than the skill in doing it. But with this sort of picture, I'm not going to copy it. I'm just going to use it as a guide and as an example of creating depth through colour in abstract. Now I've got these brushes here, these old Chinese brushes. This one, the paint has dried, and the oil paint has dried in this part of the brush, and has made the hairs spray. Well, that's going to be a good stipple brush. So we don't throw those away. We even try to, I'm just going to change, get that so it doesn't make a noise. There we go. So this is just a piece of £140 hot pressed paper, which I don't really like. I bought 20 sheets of it very cheaply off eBay some years ago, and I'm using it for the acrylic. It's great for acrylic. I've mixed a bit of plaster, sort of plaster filler or plaster fine finish. I got it from guys doing some building, and I don't want to buy a great sack of it. I just wanted a cupful. And I just put a bit of PVA glue on both sides, diluted, and on this side I've put a bit of this paste just to give a bit of texture, a bit of surface. And this is another inch flats, which I've had for years. These were cheap. They're not so cheap now, but then to keep the price down, you get less hairs or less bristles in the brush. But these are great for that sort of painting, which is great when you're doing leaves and stuff. Right, okay, so been a lovely day, really, after a lot of rain yesterday. Cheers, tea. So I'm going to put in a bit of a background. Now, I would, if I could find some cheap cobalt blue, I'd use it. in the backgrounds, but I've got ultramarine and I'm going to mix a bit of red and just to make a background. This is the depth. Oh, I was going to wet that, but you don't really need to wet it. So bit of cadmium red, bit of ultramarine, and just put it in. We have more of some reds, and I haven't primed it with a colour. I don't always do that. We'll just make it a bit different. Don't have it all like a regiment of soldiers. Being this sort of painting, we can change as we go, or when it dries. So that's that. So that's a bit of distance. That's the start of the distance, and we can put other warmer colours over that. But I don't really want to. I want to just leave that as an exercise in how we create depth, distance. That boardwalk is goes through what we call the wetlands, Morden Hall Park wetlands, and it's set in a very wet area. The River Wandle, it's called the Wandle Valley. The Wandle is very high, or the water table is very high here, and it's set. The boardwalk itself is set above about a foot or so, 2 foot above the surface of the water, with a lot of marshy. It's just glorious for a bit of suburban parkland. Made a wonderful job of it, and we do love it. A week or so ago, 2 weeks ago, when it was first open to us public, it said no cycles. Well, we were on our bikes, but we didn't ride our bikes, of course. But we still walked them on the boardwalk, and I noticed today that sign's been taken down, and there's a beautifully carved plaque nailed to the entrance of the boardwalk of a cycle with a line through it. They took the hint. So you're welcome to go on there with your bikes, but not on the bikes. So we're very pleased about all this. So now we're putting some warm in the foreground. So we'll have a bit of, I'll just pour out some yellow ochre. This is Galleria. This is good quality, artist quality, I believe. Costs enough. I can't get that from Wilkinson's. £1.50 for 200 millilitres. But I'm just going to put in some warm colour here. A bit of green in there as well. Just mix it all about. Try and get the idea of the warm colours. I could use a bit of spray, and I think, in fact, I will. A bit of water, because we've got a surface on it now. The paint is hitting high spots, which is great, but we want it to hit the low spots as well, just to cover. I might have a go when Father Christmas comes at soluble oils. Used to do nothing but oil painting, and for some years before I went back to watercolours 4 years ago. So there, let's just overdo this. Bit of burnt umber, a bit of red. Let's just scumble over that. Look. So these are the warm colours. Warm colours being warm, they give the impression of things being near. The blues give the impression of things being far away. Then you've got all your greys and your textures and stuff. I'm going to put the sky in last, but I want to just get some of this in. This is all nice and green. So just a bit of lemon yellow, viridian, and a bit of red. And we get our nice muted greens. No white in there, other than what is on. Well, there's none on the brush, I think. Okay, so that'll do. We can put some shadow in there as well, so we can make that a bit darker. So we do a bit of crimson, a bit of alizarin, and then we'll get some depth into this. Oh, some shadow. Just put that in there. Then we can counter change lights against the dark. You can use red instead of crimson with your viridian. I wish I had primers now with a bit of burnt sienna. But it doesn't matter, we'll cover that in due course. Right, we'll put in some. I'm working from the photograph. I'm not copying it, but I'm just putting in what made me take the picture in the first place. Let's turn it again. So we've got quite a bit of yellowy green going to sienna in the distance as well. So I'll probably cover most of that tonight. So we'll get this nice yellowy mass in here. And we'll get our dark in the base of this. This is the shadow in the tree. Now along here there's the tram. The trams run very popular, and there was a bad accident near not far from where I live, a couple of weeks ago, when a tram derailed. It was going too fast, coming out of the tunnel on a bend, and then we'll put in a bit of sienna. Burnt umber at the top. I'm going to cover over a lot of this when I put my sky in. But that way we'll build up a sort of texture. Let's get that a bit more rounded there. Okay, and then we've got all this. So we want some dark along there. So let's have a bit of burnt umber and a bit of blue. And just put all this in, just carry on along here. This will be a lot different when I finish than what I'm doing now. Now I want to get a nice shadowy colour in here. There's a lot of, you don't actually walk through this area. You can just see, I think the bulbul, no, I'm not sure. But anyway, let's just put these dark greens in, I think. And we're going to go back over this. So this is a warm dark made from ultramarine and cadmium red. And then we'll put some umber and some of this in here. Let's solidify that. In other words, just kill the canvas there. Let's just get some paint in that. Let's all that blue show through now. And then we've got lighter green. A bit of burnt sienna with it. Coming up here. Okay, right. And a bit lighter ochre green. And I'll do a sky. So that's the basic foreground at the moment. We'll let that dry off a bit now. Clean the brush, keep your brushes very clean. And now I'm going to put in an idea of that tree. It's sort of a grey-green. So mix of dark in with that. So we'll, that comes up about here, and this will be a lot darker than that. Just using the side of the edge of the brush. I can't do these photographically, I'm afraid. But using these large brushes, this is an inch flat, and the light source seems to be on the left. Put a bit of white in that mix just to loads of branches coming out of here. With the painting I did yesterday, the ivy, a bit of trouble with the road. I didn't know when I started that painting whether to do a road or a path, like a bridle path. I wish I'd done the latter. And then there's just there's loads of these here, it's all crooked. And when I was doing these sort of things, I should have turned the painting upside down with the rigger. It would have been a much better thing to have done. Now I'm taking a lot of trouble on that, but I'm going to cover it all up. So I'll let that go for a minute. I'll go back on this, which is nearly dry. I have a swig of tea to get some texture in here. Alright, get me texture brush, and we'll start to put in some grey greens. That covers it all in there. So I just use a bit of white and only lemon yellow. Lose the base of the tree. Look out for lights and darks. There's a bit of ochre in there as well. And there's some nice siennas in there. I'll put a bit of white and ochre with it. And it's all around this sort of area here. Across there. You have to look out for all your colours, your lights and your darks. Alright, okay, now let's put some burnt umber in there. And the depth of this. quite a lot of dark shadow in all of this. You can mix a little bit of black if you want to, which I will. Shortcut. The joy of acrylic painting, of course, is it dries something damn quick. Okay, let's get some dark green. I'll put behind this tree in this sort of shadowy area. Dark green in here. And then we go back to the lighter colour. This way I'm also covering all the white. Come back screen. Right, we'll mix a bit of white with a bit of ochre. Then we can see, so when the brushes wear out, they do other things. So I've got hundreds of them. Don't throw them away. They do live again. Like my watercolours, the ones that are less than reasonable, I paint over. I've got some nice light, very light green on the ends of these. Got to look out for the lights. They're more ochre-y on this side, but these are into the bulrushes, or the rushes. Got a lot of dark in there. Okay. Something seems to be on the screen. I don't know if I splashed it. Hold on, I have to disturb you because there's a, you have to look at me now, there's something on the lens. Looks like a splash. Oh yeah, I don't know what that is. Better, I'll have to get a bit of cleaner on that. Right, okay, so I'll do some sky, I think, and go over some of that because I want to get on with all this. I'm enjoying that. And I've got a brush here that's never really got clean. Right, I'll just give it a bit of a wet sky. So it was quite a light sky, so we don't want to. A wintry, autumny day. Lovely, really. It's too light. I'll go over that. So mix a bit of red with that, I think, just to get a little bit of cloud going across. Take your clouds behind your trees. Don't start and stop them. Right, now let's get some. I'm just going to clean a bit of the palette off around my white because I want to mix up some very pale ochre. I will be going back to watercolours probably next week. For those of you that unsubscribe because I don't, well, you wouldn't hear it, would you? Because I don't do what you want me to do at the time. Could please everybody, and most of all, I have to please myself. Right, bit of ochre, touch of red, and then just take that over there. Just merge everything. Go over that blue a bit. I can put that back later. And then we'll just go across here with that. Nothing difficult about that, is there? Right, go back with a bit of ochre again and a bit of that. Bit of that light. Just check that over there. And we'll sort of let this dry a little bit. But it doesn't take long. Just blend. Was that all right? Yeah, that'll do. Right, stipply stuff. So we need to put in some bright, warmer colours in the foreground now. So not a lot of green in this area, but it's a bit of ochre and sienna. So we'll just brighten that up with that. Coming down there. So I reckon a bit of burnt umber and a bit of white would be good for these. Just gently dragging over, putting those lovely light bits in. Right, that's a bit more warm in there. Now some lighter on the tops. Catching the light. I don't want to go up too high. A few of those, just these lovely grasses catching. Right, okay, that seems a bit. Let's do stipple into that tree on the right now. Then we can put back all that in there. Then we'll go into the tree and make some. Before I do, I'll just get some nice bright red. Bright green in here. A little bit in there. Okay. Right, I'll put in this umbery dark. I'll mix a bit of blue with it, I think, just to darken a little bit rather than the black. So let's just go in here. Age-old technique, stippling, lovely way of painting. And the blue will be put in there really, but let's just put those darks in where they go. And now the greens. And just a different yellow, nice brighter yellow, to show that the sun is catching some of this. A good green is alizarin with yellow ochre. Quite subtle, but it's quite an effective, realistic looking green. Let's get this up here, get that shape in. Then we've got the burnt sienna. So that's all over here. I've still got another tree up here. Right, burnt sienna. Bit of yellow in for that, I think. It's all the way down there. A little bit up here. Right, okay, so that's that bit. I'll just clean the brush. And I'll reinstate that tree, and then I can put the little one in here in front of it. So let's get my, that's just the brush I like. I like them all. So we can now put in the grey green of that. I think it's a beech tree. Beech trees seem to go everywhere. We're going to go back in the same way, isn't it? I will stipple some leaves on some of this. I can't put it all in, it'll take days. Just put some of this in. Don't seem to see ivy on beech trees for some reason. I'm guessing, but I can't, so I've observed. But I loved doing the ivy yesterday. It was good fun. But as I say, I wasn't quite sure whether I should have painted a bridle path. Let's get the light on one side here. Right, I think I might have gone a bit too thick at the base of that tree, but I'll can soon alter that. Bit of burnt umber, bit of blue. I just put some there. That's better. Right, so there's my tree. I'm getting good at this. I'll just put a little bit of that grey back on there. Right, clean the brush. Now I'm going to stipple the tree, the leaves on this tree. So they're sort of nondescript, yellowy, nothing really, just palette green, just on the top, just here and there. A lot of these are going to be covered up with the brighter yellows. Put some in here. Get the lighter greens on the other side. Oh, that's not very light, is it? Try to make this sort of thing look natural, rather than mechanical. Not easy. Right, let's get some darker ones. When I would do this, clean the brush. Right, now see how brilliant the green we can get. So I'll mix all the yellows. Sort of an acid yellow. There's a touch of red in that, I think. Maybe a touch of red. Bit of white. Right. More ochre. Right up here. And in that we've got some sienna mixed with that yellow. And when that's dry, I'll put some air back in, but I'll just clean the brush, because I'm not going to do too much more to this. We need some more lemony greens around here, more bright. Find the outline of the tree. Right, there's yellow bits back in there. And going over into there. Right, that should do that. I can't see any of that colour in there. Let's use my rigger and risk some little bits of that's a bit thin. Just put a few in to show there's some life in there. Right, now I'm going to put in some blue, some stipple in the background behind that, so to try to give that bit of depth again that we lost in the melee. So the idea of that is to, oops, lost my picture. Is to reinstate the grey, the cool distance, and we've got the sky as the coolest, then that cool grey, bluey grey, and then we've got these grey greens, and gradually getting warmer as we're coming more into the picture. So, but I want to put some of that sky back. Not a lot because I've got the blue there. Right, okay, that'll do. Right, so we just put in any more. You can't see much in there, just little bits of grass. Right, now back to the rigger. Just to put in some bits of in here. We have got a lot of these branches coming down, but I can't paint all those in. Just back up some of that in there. Right, okay, I can't see much more to do there other than a few of those. So it bears some resemblance to what I'm copying, what I'm working from. I'll show you. So there's that, and there's that. Now, I think maybe we need a little bit more. Oh. Splash my screen. Just a little bit more dark on the right hand side of those trunks. So a bit of burnt umber, a bit of blue, maybe a bit of greeny stuff in there. Right, I'm going to let that go. Okay, we'll put it in a mount, and I hope it explains a bit of aerial perspective using cool colours in the distance to create the illusion of depth through colour. It is a sort of late autumn scene, or autumn scene, so we have to hunt for the lovely warm colours in the foreground. So some falling leaves we can have in there, I think. So a bit of ochre, a bit of sienna. Squinting my eyes up here just so I can see if I can see them. And then it's all around that base of that. Not a lot in there. So that will do. That's our picture. Put it in mount. It's a bit small, the aperture on that, but there we are. That's my version of what I was looking at this morning. Sometimes you can see nasty patterns in your painting, like I can see down there, sort of a line there, but I can alter that some other time. But there we are. I'm quite pleased with that. It's more or less what was there. It's my idea of how I try to solve problems with what seems to be a complicated piece of foreground, or to others a nondescript piece of parkland, but to me it has great beauty. It has all these lovely wonderful textures where you give you the opportunity to counterchange light against dark, cool against warm, all these sorts of things. I hope you can get something from that. I quite enjoyed that. I'm quite looking at it too. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.